Hello and welcome to the Contemporary Comrades. This is going to be a little short video that I'm going to show you guys, but we're going to get right into it. San Francisco has made a lot of progress during this pandemic, and now, as we see, San Francisco has now opened starting this week. So this report comes from Los Angeles Times yesterday. Around a little bit after noon. So I'm just going to go on and read. It says, much of San Francisco looked like a ghost town during late April. All but essential services were closed. Few roamed the streets. The mood seemed as grim as the gray skies overhead. Well, sounds like every city. Now life has returned. Restaurants and stores are open, clad in masks. Pedestrians last week clutched bags from stores where they had just shopped. Diners sat at tables, outside restaurants, and cafes. People strolled along the bay on the, please forgive me when I try and say this, Embarcadero, Embarcadero? Either way. And a huge Ferris wheel opened for business at the Golden Gate Park, which, for any of you guys know, that's a big deal. After cautiously approaching the pandemic for months with a go-slow attitude toward reopening, San Francisco has become the first urban center in California to enter the restrictive tier for reopening. Risk of infection, according to the state's color-coded tiers, is considered minimal, even though San Francisco is the second dense city in the country after New York, or densest city in the country after New York. And Dr. Robert Wachter, the professor and chair of the Department of Medicine and the University of California, San Francisco, says, we have, at least so far, done everything right. Now, with that being said, this is something that, yes, it's good, and again, I'm conflicted on this issue as well, because they're saying, oh, we did everything right. We took all the precautions that we needed. We know exactly what California did. Now, again, I'm not the kind of guy that's going to shit on the state of California. It's somewhere that, at least for the majority of my life, I actually wanted to at least live there at some point in my life. Whether I wanted to spend 2 years there or 4 years there or whatever. It's not a place where I would, settle, but it's a place that I would like to, live in LA, the hills or somewhere, for a couple years or something like that. But man, it's getting harder and harder to actually want to picture myself living in the state of California because of all the crazy stuff that's going on. But again, I'm not the kind of guy that's gonna crap on California, on the state of California, just because everyone else is and just because of all these other people are. I'm not that kind of guy. I still like California. I'm still a fan of the state of California. But with that being said, let's not forget what California did when the pandemic started and when everyone wanted to put all these precautions and all these laws into place in terms of wearing masks. Let's not forget that, y'all. Let's not forget that. And in case you need a refresher, let's go to this store right here. So Berkeley, and this is, I know this is an article from September, a little over a month ago, but it's still relevant. This is about what they did throughout the pandemic, and I'm just gonna give you a little short read of this. So it says, these California cities and counties have implemented fines for not wearing a mask or face covering in public, which means, because in a majority of states, there's honestly no fine. You're warned. I mean, anyone that has any kind of common sense, which it's very rare nowadays, it seems like. But anyone who has common sense can really tell you, like, okay, wear a mask. Or people are, at least, even if you walk into an establishment without a mask, you at least have one in your pocket or somewhere. Because I've seen it. They're like, hey, can you put on a mask? I work at a restaurant, so I'm like, hey, can you guys put on a mask? They're like, oh yeah. Most of them are like, oh yeah. And then they take their mask, or they have their mask in their car to go out and get it. cool, and they come back in and they're good to go. But in California, I've spoken to numerous sources. I have read numerous articles. Again, I was in the Army, so I have friends and people, coworkers, I guess you call them, that live in California now. So spoke to them about it. Talked to a couple people. Read some articles about it, and even pulled up one of their laws that they put in place 3 months ago in July. So I'm just going to read off these cities really quick and the fines as well. So it says, these California cities and counties have implemented fines for not wearing a mask and face covering in public. Beverly Hills, a $100 fine for the first offense, $200 for the second, $500 for the third, and possibly when it says and subsequent offenses, pretty much means you're going to be arrested. Berkeley, considering $100 for the first violation. Calabasas, $100. Contra Costa County, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Contra Costa County, $100, then $200, then $500, and then $250 for a business violation, and $500 for the second, and $1,000 for the third when it comes to businesses. Costa Mesa, $100. Duarte, $100, then $200, and $500. Fremont, $100. Glendale, $400 for the first time, and $1,000 for the second, and $2,000 for the third. Yeah. Hermosa Beach, citations will come with fines of $100 for the first violation, which means you could possibly go to court. $200 for a second violation, $500 for each violation of the face mask requirement. Irvine, penalties up to $500 per day. Manhattan Beach, $100, then $200, then $350. Marion County, $25. That's not bad. See, that's a reasonable one. But again, we're talking about lives being at stake. So again, this is something where I'm conflicted in, because although me personally, I have not taken COVID super seriously, but I do have a mask. I do wear my mask. I do wear my mask everywhere. So, it's crazy. And then between 250 and 10,000 for businesses. That's crazy. And criminal. But again, if someone, let's say someone catches it at your restaurant or at your business, you're kind of responsible for it. I mean, to an extent. But Monterey, $100. Napa County, between $25 and $500. Again, reasonable. Starting at $25, reasonable. Salinas, if I'm saying that right, $100, then $500, then $1,000. And then San Mateo, Santa Clara, and Santa Cruz, all the same with $100, $200, and $500. Santa Monica, $100, $250, $500, and then $500 for businesses for the first violation, then $750, and then $1,000 for the third. Sonoma County, $100, then $1,000, then $10,000 for businesses. West Hollywood, obviously, they're going to up the price, $300 for the first violation. Yolo County, between 25, fine between $25 and $500, and then $250 and $10,000 for businesses. So those are the fines. That's what they are telling us. That's what they keep reminding us, right? Because again, this article came in September, so they're just reminding us. They're just re-implementing what they've already put in place when the pandemic started. Now, let's go to this article. Now, this comes from newsbreak.com. Don't know if they're super credible. It is kind of sketchy because their article is super short. It's like not even a paragraph. It's like 3 sentences. That's all this article is. So take it with a grain of salt. But again, you might not want to take it with a grain of salt, because I remember seeing this video. And by the way, I will be showing you guys this video here in a few seconds. But newsbreak.com, multiple people arrested for not wearing mask in Orange County grocery store. Store manager locked them in and called police. So multiple people on Saturday, and this was back in August, were arrested for not wearing face masks inside of a Mother's Market in Costa Mesa, one of the counties we were just talking about. According to a woman who was cuffed, The store manager locked her and other maskless individuals in the store and called the police. How is this even legal? Exactly. How is this legal? That is the big question. Well, it's California. That's how it's legal. Because I know here in Florida, we cannot lock someone inside of a store for them not wearing a mask and call police. We ask them to leave. We can say, hey, if you step outside, we can take your order outside, or you can order online on your phone through the app outside, but you can't be in here without a mask. A lot of them give us an attitude, but they eventually leave. I've only had 2 individuals throughout this entire pandemic that I personally had to deal with, and tell them, like, look, man, and like I've had to deal with, and they wouldn't listen. They wanted to play hardball, so I played hardball back. I said, look, man, now I'm gonna have to ask you to leave the store. If you don't leave the store because you don't want to wear a mask, like, what makes you think that, like, why would someone still want to work? I mean, not work. Why would someone still want to be served at a business that won't serve them because they're being an idiot? Like, what makes you think that after you cussing me out, after you sitting there without a mask, after you standing around other people with masks on without a mask, looking like a dumbass? Like I get it. I don't like the mask either, but I still have to fucking wear it. Okay? Still got to do it. But what makes you think that we're still going to serve you after you cussing out all the employees and making an ass out of yourself? Again, this isn't California. Like, at least you're not in California where this shit happens, where you get arrested for walking around without a mask, period. No questions asked. Just straight up arrested. Now you have a criminal record. Now you have a criminal background because you don't want to wear a mask. And I think that's stupid. I think it's stupid that, now again, I also think it's stupid not walking around with a mask while everyone else is walking around in masks. Now again, if you're on the streets, that's one thing. And again, California implemented that as well. Walking outside, even outside on the streets, you have to wear a mask. I think that's stupid. I think that's idiotic, and I think that right there is probably an infringement on rights. But again, a lot of people would disagree with me. So, what's new? But anyways, let's get on in this video. I'm gonna show you guys this quick little video, of the article that I just read.
They locked the front door.
As you hear, she said they locked the front door, so she couldn't even get out. Now again, she is a Trump supporter, so she could be lying. So take it with, again, like I said, take it with a grain of salt, whatever comes out of the mouth of these people, because a lot of these, again, I have nothing against Trump, but the Trump supporters are extremely obnoxious and crazy. Saw it for myself yesterday as well.
Already in the building, and then they locked the door, couldn't get out. Let
So that's basically what I wanted to show you all, is that although San Francisco wants to say, oh, we did everything right, they were arresting people in California for not wearing a mask. Let's not be lost on that, okay? So while they want to say, oh, so far we've done everything right, did you though? Because you were walking around arresting people for not wearing a mask. Now again, I am conflicted on this issue because, again, we know COVID is real. We know it's a real virus, disease, whatever you want to call it. We know it's killed people. Now it may not. I don't believe that the numbers are that high. I don't believe I don't believe in these statistics that they're giving us because, again, the only reason why I say that is because, well, I already had a hunch before the CDC even came out and said all this stuff. But back in August, we did an episode here on Contemporary Comrades about how the CDC came out, said, hey, the numbers are not real. The COVID numbers are not that high. They're just slapping COVID on everything that's happening. I mean, they've told us that people were getting the flu and that doctors were slapping and hospitals were being paid to slap COVID on top of it, and that people were dying from different things. I mean, they even tried to say that George Floyd died from COVID. Like, what the fuck? Come on, man. You know, it's crazy out here. So again, this is a little. I'm not trying to steal, Jaren's limelight in terms of truth nuggets. So I'm not gonna say this is a truth nugget, but this is just a little short video to give you guys a little more understanding before, this becomes really, really big news that, San Francisco or California is going to be the first state, or San Francisco, all these different cities in California, have done everything right. They haven't. They've infringed on our freedom. They've infringed on rights. Arresting people for not wearing a mask, not fining them like they just told us that they would. But we remember when the pandemic first started, police departments, military, soldiers were storming the streets, arresting people, putting people back in line physically because people were not wearing a mask. And I think that, obviously, I know that that's not right. I'd rather take a fine than to be arrested. I'd rather take a fine than to have to go to court and appeal a criminal background because I didn't wear a little old mask that you told us to wear. To me, I honestly doesn't even make that much of a difference. And again, you don't have to take my words for it. I'm a nobody. My words mean absolutely nothing except to me and anyone who listens. But the CDC came out themselves and said it is not that serious. It is not that deep. But hit the like, hit the subscribe. Comrades out.